coming to you with another Philippines travel update, and today is a positive day because we've seen so many positive developments. Obviously, I'm not talking about the last minute pullout that prevented a lot of people to get into the Philippines, but what I really want for you guys is to see the bigger picture, and the bigger picture leads towards a reopening very soon. And today we're going to talk about the recent developments in the Philippines that I believe to be very positive. And we're also going to talk about the upcoming election and what my thoughts are on this subject. So I have an article open here by Rappler. You know, Cebu City is doing pretty good, and Cebu is the place where most people go to, right? Most retirees, they end up in Cebu. And it says Cebu City may hit its vaccination target by year end, meaning by the end of December. That's right at the beginning of December, so we're getting much closer towards reaching this target. And what's really positive here is that, you know, right now, I mean, most people have been vaccinated, 92% of the eligible population. So the thing with vaccines is that, like, kids below 12, they can't get it. And so only people above the age of 12 really qualify. And it says here that the city only needs to vaccinate another 59,000 people, something that could be accomplished like this. You know, that's not going to take forever. And what the Philippines been doing is they've been focusing on the cities because that's where most people live, right? Very densely populated areas. Here's another article. During the past 3 days, okay, the article was published on December 3rd, I should add that, 7.6 million people have been vaccinated. I mean, that's pretty good. That's like 2 million, more than 2 million people a day, 2.5 million people a day. I mean, if they can keep going at this pace, I mean, it will not take a very long time to have the entire population vaccinated. So this is all very positive. And I know that some of you guys are upset because the Philippines decided, you know what, we're not going to open up because of this new variant called Omicron. But now what we already are seeing is that this new variant is not as bad as it initially looked. You know, it keeps getting milder, it keeps getting weaker. As the virus mutates, you know, it gets weaker, which is positive. So it's not like the end of the world. I mean, the way I see this as a marathon, right? You have already come such a long way, and the finish line is in sight. You are not gonna stop right before the finish line. And I think we're getting closer to that point. So don't throw in the towel yet, don't give up. And I know there's a lot of you guys that are waiting anxiously to get back to the Philippines because the Philippines is one of the best countries for us, one of the best countries for guys, you know. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming election. And I wanted to point out a very specific candidate because he may be the favorite to win the election. I can't say it with 100% certainty, but the guy that I'm talking about is a populist. And populists, you know, what we have seen from recent history, populists have a high chance of winning an election. They're very popular among the general population. You know, when people hear the name, they recognize it immediately and they know, okay, this is what he stands for. So the guy I'm talking about is Pacman. Pacman is a former boxer. He just retired. He is a current senator. He's running for president in this upcoming election that's taking place at the beginning of May 2022. What's interesting about Pacman is his story. He has a very inspirational story. Why? Rags to riches. He's not a guy that started out, you know, with millions of dollars. He's a guy who started out selling candies on the streets to make some extra money, you know. He's a hardworking guy. He started from zero, worked himself up. Obviously, a few things went right along the way, no question about that, but he's a hard-working guy. And what's really interesting about some of the statements that he made are statements that resonate with the general population. You know, how Trump got elected, okay, just see it the same way. How Trump got elected is by hitting on the emotional hot buttons of the population, of the audience, you know. And he knew that the audience had so much pain because of immigration problems. People were upset about what the former presidency did in terms of immigration. You know, whether that's right or wrong, that's up to you to decide. I'm not making a comment on that, but he made statements about that, and he also had a great goal to make America great again. Whether that happened or not is up to you to decide. I'm not making a comment on that again, but He found a way to get people motivated, to get people excited, and he found the right talking points, the right struggles. And if you can do that, if you can find the problems that people have and provide a solution, a lot of people are willing to listen to you. And I think Pacman is the same guy. He's running on the same patterns. He's using the same patterns as Trump did. Will he follow through? I honestly have no idea about that. I don't personally know the guy, but the fact that he signed up, he's a current senator, he is a boxing champion. I mean, he resonates with the general population. All these are big pluses for him to win a general election, which is based on popularity anyway, meaning whoever gets the most votes is going to win the election. That's just how it works in the Philippines, as much as it works in many other countries. Now, he pointed out that he's going to go after the current presidency because, they've been doing some things that he believes to be inappropriate, inaccurate. You can guess what those things are. I'm not going to comment on them too much here. The thing about politics is that you don't do what you say 100% of the time. In fact, a lot of the times you don't. That is the thing, you don't. But if you can say the right thing at the right time, you're going to get the right votes. And I think this guy is going to be able to do it. Now, this guy, Pacman, he had given away $200 million to help the poor. How many people do that? How many people give away that kind of money? Look, he's not a billionaire. He's not a billionaire, but the fact that he's giving a lot of his personal wealth away really shows good qualities. Because how many people are willing to do that? There's so many people that have a ton of money, but they're not giving away anything. All they want is more materialistic, more superficial things for themselves so they can look better in public. That is very appealing to the general population because it shows that a guy who's rich can have empathy for the poor. And the fact that he came from a poor background, worked himself up to become rich, is another big deciding factor in my personal opinion. And he wants to fix the broken system. And again, this really is very similar to Trump. He also wanted to do these things. And he ran on these principles. And I think we're seeing a similar pattern here with Pacman. What should you do right now? Because the Philippines, you can't really predict when the country is going to open up. It depends on so many factors. It depends on the vaccine rollout. It depends on the current administration. It depends on what's going to happen before the election. Certain decisions may be made that could influence an election for other candidates. It's very difficult for you to predict. So right now, if you were among the people that had booked the trip to the Philippines, which got canceled last minute because, they pulled out, they said, no, we don't accept tourists yet. It's too early. We can't do it because of this new variant. Then that's not good for you. And I'm sure you have a lot of anger, maybe not anger inside of you, but you have negative emotions inside of you. Maybe it's sadness, anger, frustration, whatever you have inside of you. I totally understand that. I'd be not okay with that either. And so it's very difficult right now, but you've seen, maybe don't book the trip until the country's really open because things can change last minute. We're in a time of great uncertainty. We don't live in normal times. And since we don't live in normal times, we can't expect things to happen the normal way. Normally, we can't expect that. And so what I'd do is hold back, or if you really want to book a flight and let's say they have a new date, they announced a new reopening date, but in case you still want to go ahead, make sure you can cancel your ticket. Book a cancelable ticket in case they should decide not to move ahead. At least you can get your money back, or you can change the date, Make sure you can at least change the date of your flight. Otherwise, it's just a waste of money. And you need to be really careful. That is just my opinion. That's what I personally do. I would like to hear now from you guys. When do you guys expect the Philippines to open up? When do you think fully vaccinated travelers can enter the country without quarantine requirements? And when do you think unvaccinated travelers will be allowed to enter with or without quarantine? I want to hear your thoughts on this subject. Leave a comment below and let us know. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm uploading new videos on Philippines travel updates concerning many countries around the world, as well as visas several times a week right now. I highly recommend that you get a free copy of my ebook, How to Retain a Life of Freedom During Challenging Times. Grab a copy now, click on the link below this video. And if you get some more time, feel free to check out these videos. Thank you for watching.